Our first guest here on our second day is a Super Bowl winning head coach, fresh from a competition committee meeting, no doubt as well, from the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. Good to see you, Sean. How are you?
Great seeing you. I appreciate you having me on.
Come on, man. All good. You know, one of my first memories of the Combine was 2005 was the first one I covered for NFL Network, and I noticed right there on the 40-yard dash line, right there on the starters line, it was Al Davis, Bill Parcells, and Gil Brandt. And then there was a fourth seat sitting next to him, was a rotational spot. And I always thought to myself, how much gumption do I need to have to be the guy?
Too much.
Too
Can
much. I be the fourth to join?
It was at...
That wouldn't have been good.
Well, it was at the old Hoosier Dome.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so the one thing about that facility is you pretty much had to pass everyone.
Yeah.
In one hallway.
That's it.
And then you either could make the first left, which took you to the away bleachers.
Yes.
Or the second one over by the coffee and donuts, which is where Al and Bill were for every combine. And that
was it.
There was just an aura. I had gone through the process in 2003 of interviewing with Al.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, staying in Dallas, and for the next 8 years, doing everything I could to avoid.
Because did he give you the Death Star stare?
Like,
did he give it you?
He was so smart and so intimidating. There are very few. No, there aren't any owners that can interview you in a way he could.
Yeah.
And talk about defensive fronts, coverages.
Oh yeah.
Everything from salary cap to team travel, and and he would travel with that. It was a group of assistants and. There are times where I think, man, we miss him. The game does.
Sure.
But in 2011, I believe, we were playing a preseason game in Oakland, and one of my assistants and Greg Benzel said, "You need to pay your respects." He was sick, and I thought, what do you mean? And they said, "Go see him." And we were at the old stadium there where the Athletics played.
Sure.
And I remember it was during pregame warm-up. We had plenty of time, just sitting and spending 20 minutes with him in his press box prior to our preseason game. And I think he passed shortly after that. But he was something larger than life.
I remember with the NFL Network had like a top 20 or top list, and they did the NFL Films did it. Of the best Super Bowl winners of all time, and one of his Raiders teams was like 16th on the list. He saw me at an owners meeting and laid into me like I had anything to do with this list.
It should have been higher.
He was pissed at me, and I'm like, Mr. Davis, I had nothing to do with this. He didn't care. I'm like, oh my God, I just got chewed out by Al Davis, which is kind of the coolest thing
and
ever.
And you felt it too.
I mean, I did, for sure, Sean Payton.
It was something.
Here on the Rich Eisen Show. No doubt about it. How is Bill Parcells now? How's he doing?
We stay in touch. Probably we talk once a week.
You do? Did you reach out to him like during the playoffs and stuff like that?
Yeah, we would speak, I would say regularly. For
awesome.
me, it would be, look, Bill's 83 or 84. So in the morning on a drive to work, I would call him. And I know that he's 2 hours ahead.
Yes.
And he's either in Saratoga, upstate New York during the summer months. He's spending more time there, or in Florida. And we stay in touch quite a bit.
Okay.
He's doing really well. He's sharp as a tack. He'll be thinking of the same message maybe I will.
What to deliver to your players?
Just in each game, like what he's looking at, and I think because he's able to follow and watch, he's got a good idea of the strengths and weaknesses of our team, and then maybe we're playing someone else. I mean, he's very much on top of it.
So looking back at the playoffs, the narrative is that had Bo Nix not broken his ankle, you could have won the whole damn thing. Do you feel that is fair or not?
I think it's unfair a little to Seattle in that. Look, they did it. It's like I'm reading the Twitter feeds on the Olympic hockey, and it is what it is. And so the timing obviously wasn't great, and yet certainly can't diminish from the first 2 years he's had as a pro. But it's tough. Look, it's a grind to begin with, and then the further you go, the more difficult it will be if you lose. And so it's tough to get to that spot in the playoffs and then, lose to another good team.
Where do you think your team is entering the year 3 of Bo
I think
Nix
it's looking a good spot. I think, the first check or question always is it's hard to draft a quarterback in the first round and develop and have success, and we feel like we found that. I mean, despite when everyone's got an opinion, especially about the first round, and I think one of the things you have to avoid is pay attention to that bus, because none of us know who's driving it. The mocks and all the white noise, because if you get on it, you're going to find yourself with a player you don't want, historically speaking, and no one goes back to look 3 years, 5 years down, behind. But I think that having a conviction, it's harder now than it ever has been. If you're a scout, how do you tune out the white noise relative to grading a player when you constantly hear others' opinions, and those others maybe have watched 3 games, 4 games. So the first big question was finding that and getting that right, and I think we feel like we've done that. And now, you come off of a season like that, you got to start from the beginning again. You don't pick up and try to pick up where you left off. We're going to be in a little bit better shape cap-wise. We're out from the cap hit the prior 2 years. That's significant.
Of Russell Wilson.
And so that took 2 years, and that was quite a bit of operating costs or player budget.
Yeah, and for you to have a rookie quarterback and make the playoffs 2 years in a row, including the AFC Championship game, for sure. There's no doubt about that. But what is that next step roster-wise that you think you can address over the next month here?
The thing that you have to do sometimes, which is difficult, is you have to take your current roster, and there's a handful of free agents that are on our team. So you have to remove them from your depth chart when you do the musts. And so, that being said, 2 of our inside linebackers that played quite a bit of our snaps, those are priorities. I think, when you take a look at the running back position, Dobbins removed from it, that would be. So there's a handful of these musts and then needs and then wants. And you try to prioritize them. But I think sometimes, for the fans to understand, when you remove the free agents from your roster, you look at it and think, holy cow, we're thin here. And it just tells you currently there's no guarantee. A guy like Adam Troutman, who's a tight end, he's a free agent. There's a number of players that played on the team a year ago. So a lot of those guys are priorities, and yet you can't assume with this market that all of them are going to return. We'd like a bunch of them to. So I think you hope, like at this event, you hope when you get into this that you're trying to get the best player, and yet you're paying attention as you get into the middle rounds as to the fit and the vision, and that would imply sometimes need. But I think that hopefully we can do enough in this, because what happens when we go back is free agency starts
pretty much right away. Yeah.
And so it was good to us a year ago. We had some key pieces that we felt helped our team, and I think we look forward to that again. But I would say that really, to answer your question, man, we're a young team, one of the younger teams in the NFL, and there are a lot of guys that have played maybe earlier than expected, and I think that playing time and that significant playing time is going to help.
Sean Payton, a few minutes left here with the Denver Broncos head coach. The competition committee, I've got some questions for you, sir. What do you...
I hope I can answer, because honestly...
Is it like Fight Club? Are you not allowed to talk about it?
No, I can. Okay. I just haven't been yet because I got in late, and so I'm excited to be back on.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know that, look, there are a lot of, I would say there's always a lot of hot button topics, and yet it seems this year is a little calmer.
Well, I mean, there's no tush push conversation, right? Or do you think there will be?
No, I don't think there will be.
Because last year, that's all that was being talked about.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I think, look, I don't know that we saw it as effective. I think we saw teams deciding if we're going to do it, we might have Billy do it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the quarterback or
Right.
a tight end. And then it became, we're always looking for ways to draw defense offside. So we would bring a tight end behind this,
Yes.
But I don't think, I don't think it's at the top of anyone's list, at least from my vantage point right now. I think the single biggest change we've seen, you and I, in our lifetime,
Yes, sir.
is the kickoff change.
I love the dynamic kickoff. I think it's great. Unfortunately, though, it removes moments like your Super Bowl moment, man.
Well,
because now you got to declare.
Yeah.
You can know the surprise onside kicks history,
I
man.
think I would agree. The one thing that I find now as a coach is, man, that ball is starting at the 35, right? And so we want to cover that.
Yes.
But even the average drive start, let's say, might be 32. And when a punt goes into the end zone anymore, I'm kind of still celebrating. It's at the 20.
That's
They're
right.
backed up.
Yeah, right.
When they're really not. All right, so hear me out.
Yes, sure.
We would always defer, and by and large, most of the coaches win the toss, they defer. But if you watch where the second possession of a game begins, it's almost always backed up inside the 15 or 20 because the first possession has begun in this positive field position. There's a neutral spot on the field, call it the 24, 23-yard line. But when the first possession begins at the 33 or 34, give or take, let's just say one first down, maybe, punt, where's that ball? And where drives are starting today, and I think it's created, look, there's always an effect, right? There's always a result, but I think it's created the scoring at the end of game. Like when you say, hey, we have a lead, but you're kicking off, you're like, they're going to be at midfield.
Yeah, they are. And now somebody could split the uprights from there, too.
Yeah,
with the
that's
kickers.
exactly right. That's exactly right. So it's interesting.
It's fascinating.
But the punt that goes into the end zone,
it's a relief. It's like
20-yard line.
That's funny, man.
Right,
How
we
things
just
have
look for the
changed.
coffin corner.
Right, no doubt about it.
20-yard line. I'm high-fiving the punter.
What about replacing the onside kick with an offensive play?
I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. Look, if you want, tell me the percentage you want to recover those onside kicks. Let's say we want it to be 12%.
Is that?
Well,
that's more than what it is right now,
yeah,
right?
I think. Look, they tweak the alignments, and you can. Now, this is what you have to declare, obviously. So we're not talking about. But I'm saying if you want that to be 10%, we can tweak it to get it to 10 to 9, just by not with guys moving forward, but how they align to the ball. It's just a matter of if you want that other way. I still think the most exciting ending to an NFL game is when a team's down 2 scores and they score a touchdown. The onside kick is exciting when you know it's coming as well, right?
Oh, yeah, and the ball's around, and who has it, who doesn't.
Seattle, Green Bay.
Yeah.
Right?
Or obviously Green Bay and Chicago this year.
Yeah,
And
so the onside kick, and I think we can play with that to get the number where we want it based on alignment. Should put 4 offensive linemen on your return team.
what about a replay assist being able to put a flag on the field? What do you think of that one?
I think the way I understand it's going to be for some of the unsportsmanlike stuff that you see that everyone wants. When we have eyes to something that's kind of ugly, a fight or something, and then you see this other element, it's hard if the sheriff's arresting the wrong guy sometimes.
Sean, I was saying all season long now that the retaliator getting popped as opposed to the guy who started it should be over now. Like if there's video of who started it, You
we're going to the 7-Eleven security camera, and we're looking at it, and this guy stole the Slim Jims.
Exactly. Pretty much.
That's him.
You know, right? Exactly. So you should pop that guy. So that's what it's for. It's not for a face mask.
And I haven't again not having. I don't think it's for putting flags on the field for football. I think it's really about cleaning up some things.
Okay.
But again, in fairness, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Be my first morning in there. And so, but the way I read some of the quotes, it appears that it'll help them clean up what we all get to see. And that's the thing, it's covered so well now, the angles we have and the cameras we have. I think it'll just help the officials. And that's really what we want to do.
Who's the proudest guy that you spotted at a combine and pounded a table for, who turned out in your career?
Kamara. Yeah.
What, you saw him working out here?
Well, it was just the process. We had just finished working out Mahomes. We had a private with Patrick in Lubbock, and right after that, it was like, all right, we're not stopping. I don't want anyone to know we're here. And we flew to Knoxville that night.
Yeah.
And had dinner with 12 Tennessee players. There was a defensive end who was going to get drafted. A group of players, but it was a private workout for them as well. And the next morning came, and all our assistants were there to work everyone out. And I said to Alvin, I'll take the running backs. And he wasn't planning on working out. And I said, look, I've coached running backs, you know. And I said, get your shoes on. It's going to be a half an hour. And just put him through really some routes to see his hands.
Yeah.
And then this thing continued, and you felt his football intelligence. Falk had that.
Speaking of guys you coached in
college.
college.
Well, that's what I said to Kamara. I said, I've coached Falk. You know, I can
in
coach
college.
Right.
Damn straight.
But Alvin was one of those guys that when that workout ended and he finished catching punts, I remember we were flying to Ohio State, and I'm like, we're on a roll. You know, we just had the one in Texas Tech. There's our first. You know, we just kept going. But Alvin's was exceptional. You could feel his football intelligence along with his skill set. And there's so many. There's everyone's got like a closet full of stories.
Sure.
Of draft room. You know, I remember I was with the Giants, and there's always that little rivalry with the local Jets.
Sure.
You know, your trifecta would be the NFC East loses Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, and you win. All right. The superfecta is when those three teams lose and the Jets lose. And you win.
Sure.
So
I love it.
We were in a draft. I can't think of the year. I think we were selecting one after the Jets. So we'd probably be able to do the math. It's only happened probably once or twice. But in the first round, the receiver
Santonio Holmes.
No, it was
Lavernius Coles.
Moss.
Santana Moss.
Santana Moss.
Right. Okay.
University of Miami.
Sure.
The Jets are on the clock, and that pick gets turned in, and our room going silent. You know, that was our selection. You know, so it happens in a good way sometimes. You don't really appreciate when it happens in the positive because you don't really know it happened.
Sure, right.
But when it doesn't happen, you know, and so I remember when that happened. That was the first time for me as a young coach to see, man, that was a tough one.
Well, I'm with everything you said, I know you got to run, but just to follow up, because the story goes that you were red hot for Mahomes, and Andy Reid and the Chiefs beat you to the punch.
Well,
is that true?
Yeah.
That you were ready to snag Patrick Mahomes for the Saints?
We were picking 11, and this story's been told a number of times, but we were picking 11. Buffalo's on the clock at 10. There were two players. So when you typically have this group of players, and if you're on the clock, if someone's on the clock two away from you, then you better have two you like.
Yeah.
And so the team prior to Buffalo made their choice. It wasn't Mahomes or Lattimore, and those were our two.
Yes.
And so now Buffalo's on the clock, but we know we're getting one of those two.
Yep.
And when they announced there's been a trade, it wasn't that announcement, it was with who, and then as soon as they said the Chiefs, I turned to Loomis and I said, there goes Mahomes. Because I just knew Andy and those guys had a good eye for, respectfully, had a good eye for that type of talent.
But if both were available, I think Mahomes or Lattimore.
Yeah, it was going to be Patrick, and yet it ended up being like this is always hindsight. But Patrick was the defensive rookie of the year, and Kamara in the third round was the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And in that third round, this draft was just given some award. It was Lattimore, it was Ramczyk, it was Marcus Williams, and then in the third it was Kamara, Hendrickson, and Anzalone in the third round.
Not
we
bad.
couldn't pay them all.
Not bad. I know.
It was remarkable. It was really, and all of them love football. And then you just hope to have that kind of problem with the draft selection. But that was something.
You're the man, Sean Payton. Thanks for
you.
doing this. I always appreciate you always.
I appreciate
saying
our
yes.
friendship.
Right back at you.
Yep.
Yeah, many of them started right here in this town.
Absolutely.